Alright, we are live. Alrighty, so we are live, waiting for people to show up.
There we go.
Yep, here we go. It just popped up for me.
Yep, so while we listen to
Alright, so we want to send the link
oh yeah.
so people actually come in and watch while we're laughing at the crazy lady.
Crazy lady. Everybody knows that that's a crazy lady.
And we also need people listening so that we know the sound is good with the new headset.
Right. No, this is not what I want. No. I hate Facebook. Alright, so here we go.
Yep, it popped right up.
I mean, here we exist. Okay. That, this, and this, and that, and this, and
Making sure nobody messes with you.
yeah.
Nobody mess with Henry while he's doing things.
Mayhem's gonna be attacked with random. Isn't that how it always goes? So I'm just gonna show this to random people. And let everybody laugh at us. Because it's funny. I don't give a... Well, I really don't. Cool. Alright, that's sent it to some people. Only thing I gotta do left is this. Well. Oh, we're starting this a little late, but we'll get a proper schedule in the future.
Oh, if it would just stop raining.
Right. So you can hear it.
Oh, to check the sound?
Mm-hmm. So it's better now.
Oh, to check the sound? Oh, yeah, that is so much better than before.
Yep, that's Chris. All right. Cool. So.
All right, so let's actually, since nobody's in yet, we can actually test the volume of the of YouTube as well. So let me go over to the video or the audio file.
Yeah, that actually I have no idea what's going on with.
Well, we got to test the volume on the computer.
We will test it. I'm just gonna
raise
it.
Well, we got to test the volume on the computer.
That's interesting. So I can hear it from there.
All right.
Yep, so here, let's play it.
Speaking truth to power. Her critically engaging voice and fearless speech have proven to be indispensable for calling out.
All right, so that's very loud. Let's bring it down to 10.
Yep, there you go. All right, so now we know.
All right, so let's try it at 10.
Out injustice wherever it exists. She also is a force grounded within the Socratic tradition, where she embodies the mantra, the unexamined life is not worth living.
It's still very loud. Hang on. Maybe it's...
ties them to service. She ties them to a willingness.
It's probably 8. It needs to go to 8.
Well, hang on. Maybe it's faster than... Let's see if that makes it louder or softer. Oh, there we go. So did that soften it?
I don't know. You got to play it now. sounds better. It's a little quieter.
Yeah. The thing is, though, this audio file has such bad quality. Is the problem.
Well, that's something we can.
Well, I mean, there's also iHypocrite's video. He did his best to transcribe it.
Yeah, if not, we can just repeat what they said as well.
Well,
And
hang
I'll
on.
play the transcribe. You do what you need to do, my love.
Yeah.
Bruno's gonna surf the web while I try to get some new gear. It'll work.
Let's see here.
Let's see if I get my butt kicked or not. It's kind of fun.
Yep, so now it's just showing you in the game while I look.
Yep. I just started this character not too long ago. I'm almost level 30, or I am level 30.
Sure.
I know how to do a level glitch. It's kind of fun.
Here it is.
Do you have anything I need and or want, kind sir? Keep my finger off the button.
Alright, so now we'll see if this works any
Priestly
better.
armor. Interesting. I need to get myself a better helmet in general. Do you have any good weapons for me? No, you're absolutely useless. Okay.
Okay, it's already showing
Now
up.
that I know that.
Alright, so now we're going to test this. You ready?
Yeah, we're doing it live.
Too low?
I think so.
Alright, so let's bring it. There.
I'll try. Now here's something. Too loud.
Okay. We will find that balance.
15. 14 works. I don't want to deafen everybody.
Nope.
What? It sounded better. Play it again. All right, now. Yep. All right.
That's good?
Yep, that's good. We're good.
Alright.
So deafen everybody.
Nope, and they can still hear it. Now we just need people.
I'm going to just watch the chat from here.
Well, you can also keep an eye on the chat from here, because we can keep an eye on the YouTube chat and any donations on Streamlabs.
Yes. All right, so we got things to do. We can do now. All right. Everybody ready for the adventure? I should name a character Squirrel. Just go nuts.
Oh,
No, literally, I've always thought about that. Just have a character, just name it a weird name, and have it dress as one of the guardsmen from the guild, or from the like every single kind of guard there is. I'm thinking about taking one piece from each guard.
Oh boy.
Like a shield from a certain group, a helmet from another one, because it's all the same look. It's just different color and then different little symbols. But
oh boy.
the aesthetic of the guard is the basic look, and then just have it so he's just running around with like two pickaxes.
Oh boy.
Just killing people with a pickaxe. Oh, see, pickaxe, perfect.
Right.
But I'm not going to do that with this character. That'd just be wrong. Man. This character is not a bad guy. He's more of a I don't give a shit. I'll just kill you and survive.
Shit. I don't give a fuck.
If I give a shit, then I give a fuck. I don't give a shit.
I gotta say, I think I like Helsing Abridged more than DBZ Abridged.
I love them both for different reasons. DBZ Abridged for the sheer fact that it shortens Dragon Ball Z immensely. And at least to the point where I can actually watch it and not go, they're screaming for 3 episodes. Because I'm a big Dragon Ball fan. And My dad was right as I grew up. He was just like, yeah, they're just standing there for 3 episodes screaming, and then as I got older, I'm sitting there going, they're standing there for 3 episodes just screaming, motherfucker.
Yeah, that was a little mind-numbing sometimes. You just want to get to the fight.
Yeah, get to the fight, get to the story. Come on, do something. Make it more funny. Or
And
something.
you know what's weird though? They had all the long sessions of screaming, and for some reason, the original English adaptation actually cut out some parts of when Gohan was by himself because they like combined two things of like two different episodes into one. Because there's one episode where he finds a hurt dinosaur, and there's another episode where he finds a broken robot. And for some reason, they combined the two.
Yes.
For the original English adaptation, it was so weird.
Yeah, America likes to do things weird.
And yet they kept in all the episodes of screaming.
Yeah,
when nothing happened.
Like 10 episodes of screaming for no goddamn reason. But the actual thing that has story arc filler. By the way, I'm not gonna let you see that, so you don't know why this guy is the way he is. They kind of failed.
Right. Well, I guess we'll probably be waiting for people anyway. So let's just start laughing at the crazy lady.
Just do it to it.
All right.
If not, share it on other things.
There we go. Actually, let's see how this looks. Platforms. Oh yeah, that's better for the stream actually, because they can see the subtitles better.
There we go. Subtitles help.
In fact, full screen. And then that should give us optimum. Yep, that's
optimum
the
power.
Yep, that's the best. I think. Well, here you've got to put it there because we've got that, or we could do it like that.
I see this.
Yeah. So we could do it like that and just scroll it up a little bit, or we do it like this.
Well, it depends on how you want to do it.
Well, I'm just trying to think what looks better for looking at the subtitles.
Well, this looks more crisp.
Okay, we'll go with that then.
But those are mine.
Hang on. Yeah, it was on this. It was low.
Okay. Each side.
Well, no, this is the volume for the headphones, but I just it was the volume on the computer.
Ah. See, guardsman.
Yeah, so these are. Hang on, let's go back a little bit because these were the actual screenshots of things. Oh yeah, there's a damn delay. Oh, I wonder how long it is.
A couple seconds.
Okay. Yeah, see? So this was a flyer for the talk that's showing on the screen right now.
Ah, a flyer?
Yeah. So like this was a legit thing. And then I think these are slides from it.
What the fuck? What?
It's totally not about demonizing white people, guys.
By the way, we're going to demonize. But if we were, we're not going to, but if we were, this is how it's going to look. And then it became, this is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So just to maybe touch points on a couple of things right before we get started. This is probably everyone talks about the work on race, like what is the work on race? And there's often a lot of talking, but the real work is actually emotional. And in the Department of Psychiatry, I think that we already know that if you can process negative feelings, or if you have access to your aggression, you're actually psychologically healthier. And at the same time, I want us to begin to think of racism as action. So I'm going to say a lot of things, and that's
where they start. redefining things. Racism is a concept, not an action. There is racist action, but racism itself is a state of mind.
Yeah, and they're trying to like mold
The
it into people's
racism that
minds.
describes the motive behind the action, but the racism is not the action in itself. The action is just wanting to do the action. Oh my goodness, so stupid. I can't think.
It's mind-boggling for the sheer fact that she's just
Mm.
trying to put racism into everything to push some kind of agenda and or point. It's very upsetting and disrespectful.
Somebody come in here and join us in this torture.
Well, I shared it on my page. If you want to share it on your page.
I don't go on my page anymore. No one's gonna see it.
Well, it depends on who your friends are on there.
Nobody.
It's also. I don't know if you want your family.
Well, I can just exclude my family from seeing the post. You can block specific people from seeing specific posts.
Yeah.
I have all of my family on my family list, and I can just make a post and says block family. So everybody who's part of my family list is blocked from seeing that post. They have no idea it's there.
No. Yeah. I forgot that.
Yep.
I just don't care. I just like, hey, let's check this out.
Yeah, but family grief.
Seriously.
Oh, you okay?
There was a cat.
Oh no, they can't fit under here.
I'm going crazy.
Not unless some stray kitten somehow ran into the house at some point.
I hope not. I love cats at the same time. I'm allergic to them. After we get
Next cat will be a hairless or short hair.
Yeah, and that'll be a while from now. We're gonna get a dog later or something. I miss dogs. They're loyal. They listen.
All right.
They just make messes.
Back to crazy bitch.
Right. Racist bitch.
Will probably provoke a lot of responses, and I want you to just maybe observe them in yourself. Are you having moral responses to what I'm saying? Is it a thought? Is it a feeling? Is it an action? How does this relate to it? So that's it. Let's get started. First up, prayers up for DMX, who's in the hospital right now. So let's show a prayer for him. And I'm also going to invoke
totally random,
prayer,
but okay.
which is Nehinyanam Sadrasham. And that means in this word there's no position equivalent to knowledge. So if racism exists in all aspects of our world, it also exists within our collective psychology. I'm going to talk about systemic racism. So what does that mean? It means that it exists within our collective psychology, which means that culture is essentially white. It reflects a white mind. There is a psychological dynamic that is on PTSD repeat every time people of color attempt to directly talk to white people about race. The double bind of even bothering to talk at all. An eerie feeling that's familiar of intense rage and futility. We spend our time patiently explaining their attacks as they denial. We are calm, we are giving, too giving. And then when we get angry, they use our responses as confirmation that we're crazy or have emotional problems. It always...
Maybe you're crazy and you have emotional problems.
Yeah.
Because you kind of sound like one of those ladies.
Yeah, you were just definitely projecting yourself for a second about the whole crazy emotional problems right there.
And that whole collective psychology, is that an actual thing in psychology? Because, I mean, people are really individuals first, like a collective psychology.
Yeah, that's incorrect. You can't go with collective psychology.
I mean, if there's any kind of selective psychology, I would think it'd be more associated with national identity than racial identity.
Well, as I've learned teaching and just forms of martial arts for people as well, is you can't teach everybody the same because not everybody's the same. They all react different. They learn different. Some people learn slower. Some people can learn it in the first time. Monkey see, monkey do. That's how I was for a lot of things. And other people I've noticed over the years that you got to show it to them several times, get them through the motions, and get them to understand. Some people can't. Some people can. But she's sitting there seriously going like, oh, in a collective, this is how it goes. No, it's not how it goes. What are you talking about?
And it's that way. It happens every time like a goddamn timer. You just count it down. White people's expectation is that we need to take their attacks with gratitude and apologize for our anger. Not we're overly sensitive and crazy. Our rage is the real problem. Except nothing makes me angrier than a white person who tells me to not be angry because they have not seen real anger yet.
Yeah, but being angry all the time blinds you.
Yep.
If everybody's telling you stop being angry, I think it's a you problem, honey.
Yeah. She's trying to talk about the whole anger thing. Like, I don't even think she.
You know anger.
Yeah.
You understand
Yeah,
anger.
anger and rage.
Yeah, you ain't called mayhem for nothing.
Yeah, I'm very explosive when I get mad. I understand when it comes to rage. This lady has no idea.
I've only seen you start to get mad. I haven't even seen you really get revved up.
Oh, it's well known for getting mad in the ring and scaring the hell out of everybody. Which is kind of my thing.
Yep.
This for years in a psychoanalysis, where every time I got angry around race, this white bitch called me psychotic. She told me that the problem was that I was, quote, too smart, and that I either had to be psychic or psychotic. Her interpretations had nothing to do with me. Psychoanalysis was used as a weapon on me to add aspects of her mind, a projection which I'll unpack. She would attack me for racist interpretations and then make my anger, quote, the problem. I spent years unpacking her racism to her while she charged me cash money for years. And then she would attempt to, quote, teach me because she had concern about my anger. I couldn't get her to shut the fuck up. This is the cost of talking to white people at all. The cost of your own life as they suck you dry. There are no good apples out there. White people make my blood boil. Around 5 years ago, I took some action. I systematically, white roasted most of my white friends. And I got rid of a couple white BIPOCs that stuck in my crew too. I stopped watching the news. Once I started, I couldn't stop. I had less than 1% left. It was also public service. I had fantasies of unloading a revolver into the head of any white person that got in my way, daring their body.
There's the money shot.
And wiping my bloody hands.
That's what everyone's been talking about.
What was that? She said I missed that part.
About shooting white people.
Like I did the world of
She wants to shoot people.
Because she's talking about like all the stuff that she's been going through, just trying to get over her own shit. But she's going about it the worst way.
Yeah, you're not doing it right.
And less than 1% left. It was also public service. I had fantasies of unloading a revolver into the head of any white person that got in my way, daring their body, and wiping my bloody hands as I walked away relatively guiltless.
Wow.
Well, that's what I said.
Yeah, that's the money shot. That's what everyone's been talking about.
I also walked away from institutions where I spent years training
But
in Yale.
right there, that's just
Yeah,
that's
a
the
lot
big
of people have
sociopath
been.
right
A
there.
lot of people have been talking about that part.
Yeah, lady, you're not just a psychiatrist or whatever. You're a sociopath. You remind me of my ex that went through psychiatry and actually used me as a guinea pig and wrote her essay on me. She didn't put my name, which is actually not
her
something.
paper.
Yeah, she was actually legally not supposed to do that.
Mm.
I was a test subject. It's really fucked up. And yeah, people do that. But when it comes to the whole shooting thing, no. If you want to get your rage and your anger out, lady, then why don't you go to a gym or go buy yourself a heavy bag? Get yourself some gloves, punch the heavy bag, and learn how it is to get that rage and anger out. Scream and yell while you punch and kick. But you're just going to go get pissy and just going to go and shoot something? Well, right there shows you are not mentally right in the head.
Your solution is definitely more productive than just being racist.
Use your energy, your anger, and whatever you have as fuel and energy to do something good. Be productive. Don't be a racist dick monkey. Like, seriously. I don't know what the hell's wrong with this cock juggling from their tongue.
Harder. They are militarized training systems in how to become white. The IVs are papers after all. So let's step it up, yeah. I needed to cut out everything white. While ghosting is a super immature move for a psychiatrist, my lethal Connery cleanse is a moment of reckoning with myself. I didn't let myself see that I've been having these conversations for years. It was too painful for me to acknowledge that I was to see the relationships for what they really were: attack, entitlement. Holding them above the Connery dungeon, I released them into their pit. I was barking motherfucking joy. In my own private practice, however, I had the opposite feeling with my white patients. I felt unbearable pain sitting with them and feeling what they were going through. White suffering is desperately painful.
How about just
Even
human
if white
suffering?
people don't know that the origin of their suffering is racism.
What?
They've never learned another way.
Wait, you just said that the origin of their suffering is racism. Why? Because of the
Oh,
color of their
I've been
skin?
laid off for 6 months because my company went under, and I'm really depressed because it's a bad job market right now.
Get
The
extra
fuck does
talent.
race have to do with that?
It doesn't have anything to do with it. She's just racist herself. She's projecting who she really is, and it's a really fucked up thing. And she thinks now is the time because all this crazy insanity social justice is pointing towards racism towards white people for some weird reason, or anybody of any color that's not of what they choose. It's kind of fucked up and worrisome. And this lady doesn't even understand. It's human suffering. It's not just the color. Your skin does not matter for the
Well,
color. You do not judge someone by the color of the skin. You judge them by the content of the character. And
yeah.
lady, we're judging you by the content of your character. And holy shit balls, there's something wrong with you. And I can say that because you technically are a sociopath.
She's some kind of something.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I want to put into words why conversation was never possible. To communicate to you what I thought was impossible. My fantasies of being an assassin were more about my own futility. I was not doing what I needed to do. A meditation on the real murder. I didn't want to look into my own darkness, mix my blood and tears with my finger, and smear it across my forehead as to look. I was scared of my own power and thrill of invoking terror. So I thought myself. In Hindu culture, Mahishasura is a demon that changes form. Anytime we're told Mahishasura exceeds immortal by taking a new shape and form. Mahishasura can only be destroyed when you see it for what it is. It can no longer take another form. Racism is my Mahishasura. I arrived from a goddess culture that chose to create, and I'm also like really good with knives. So I'm going to do what I need to do, which is kill Mahishasura and enjoy it. I took a minute, I'm ready to come out and let the killing and creation begin. Adi Parashakti is the moment of absolute truth.
She wants to. Is she reading from a book, or is she actually just
Well,
telling
no,
us she
no,
wants to
no.
start killing somebody?
This is her thing that she's written. She's been talking about just this process she's been going through in her mind of just unpacking racism and trying to get over racism and analyzing racism and figuring out racism.
Well, first off, the constant you thinking about it, making it into a CRT kind of sense, you're literally making yourself insane by trying to project it as it's everywhere when it's not.
Well, you gotta remember she's a psychiatrist too.
You're not. It shouldn't be.
She's been institutionalized her whole life. She's a fucking doctor.
Yeah, it's the concept of the people that some people were forced to go to college, but some people should have just went to trade school. Trade school is a better option for the sheer fact for a lot of people. And look what we're missing right now, what we need.
Right.
A lot of trade school people. And what could be going good right now, which you are failing at, lady, that you're like, oh, I'm not getting much work and everything right now. Guess what? Trade school, doing construction, there's always work. There's always something.
Plumbers and electricians make bank, but so many women are like, I don't want to lower myself to date a plumber or electrician. Why not? They make bank.
Yeah, and even then, they keep themselves physical and strong and active. Like being an iron worker or anything like that, it keeps your body sturdy. She must have a pussyfoot boyfriend.
Before its creation. We're going to have to destroy everything to create a new world. I know Dave Chappelle's done new material, but I want to return to his special, 846. I hit pause in 2 moments in Chappelle's 846, his opening and closing question. I'm tired of explaining to these people something that is so goddamn obvious, and are you out of your fucking mind if you can't see that? I held on to every word Chappelle said. The space between his words felt long, emotionally raw.
And that's a problem right there. For Dave Chappelle is a comedian, and you just said that you were holding his words tightly, like to every word. No, it's a comedy aspect. You don't take it in the actual theoretical.
Literally.
Like, literally, you don't take it literally. It's a comedy aspect.
He's making broad strokes to make a point, but he's also being humorous about it. He's doing both at the same time.
And it's the best way to do it is to make light of it.
I haven't seen 846, so I don't know what the reference is.
I've seen some of it, I don't remember it.
Because she said the parts that she's focusing on is his opening and closing questions.
But so what? He always does something controversial and crazy like that, and
well,
that's just who he is. Even
well,
then,
no,
he's speaking the damn truth.
She's saying that he's making the same point about racism that she's trying to make. I don't know what he says. I haven't seen it. I don't know what he says in his opening and his closing. So I don't know what she's referencing.
That's a comedy aspect. When he's talking about, even if it's talking about the offing of people or anything, dark humor, it's comedy. You don't actually go and do it.
I don't think it's specifically about offing people. I think he's making some general point about racism that she agrees with.
We'll just have to check it out.
We'll have to watch 846 and see what she's talking about.
But I think she's just projecting a little too much of her own insanity to try to make just of it. She's going to kill someone and say it was somebody else's fault.
Racism hasn't ended, it's endured, thrived. We've never been able to move forward. Why are white people so confused by black rage? More importantly, why do white people have so little empathy towards black rage?
Well, maybe some of it's just a wee bit misdirected.
Yeah.
Just a bit. Because, the current mayor of Chicago is a black lady, and Chicago's more riddled with crime and shootings than it's ever been.
Just saying. Also, the lady that said she's only going to have
interviews with people of color because she wants to give them a chance, because apparently only white reporters get all the interviews.
What?
I don't know. Like, how often is she giving one-on-one interviews anyway? She gives interviews to a press pool, just like all the other mayors and past presidents and everything. They do pressers. They're too busy to do individual interviews.
Yeah.
She's even talking about.
White women to just shut up. White women cannot stop talking for longer than 5 minutes because they think that they are here to teach us about white privilege. And I saw the same type of thinking in all white people in the institutions I was in. But now I got some tools. So let's just say I got a roadmap to the white mind. Are you out of your fucking mind if you can't see that? I asked the exact same questions my first psychoanalyst, the aforementioned webpage. It wasn't well received. I knew it wouldn't be. I'm psychic like that.
No, she was making a joke about an earlier reference.
To attack the minds of black and brown people, to say that we're crazy or our rage is a problem. This perception is authorized by academic psychiatry and psychology because they are part of their collective white mind. That shit is white as fuck. I'm going to answer Chappelle's questions in a series of pieces through a different angle. I'll be using my expertise in forensic psychiatry, critical theory, and psychoanalysis to turn the lens on the problem, the white mind. This piece is the intro of pieces to come, which will dig deeper. The series is intended to unpack the hot mess that's the white mind. You will likely have a problem with what I'm saying. Could you try again?
She's talking about.
Anyway.
So she's even calling you out in your bullshit. But well, first off, you're trying to talk about the white mind. No, you're incorrect, because not all of the white minds are the same. Not all black minds are the same. Not all Chinese minds are the same. Not all any race of any color of any ethnicity.
Because people are individuals.
we are individuals. Does anybody else remember that or know that? They are attacking the individual and destroying the individual. Want everybody to be a collective. Sorry, we're not the Ford. Homie,
No.
don't play that game.
No, thank you.
It doesn't make any sense.
Interesting question. All right. Let's turn the volume on it down. So curious and fine on it. We'll still talk about plan. That's part of my scheme. You likely have a problem with what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. That the way I'm talking about race is, quote, not acceptable to you. These racist restrictions are code for reasons of speaking and writing. You want me to categorize my writing and the style in which I speak is the dynamic of racism. If my use of the word bitch was too much for you, what I'm saying will threaten you. You need to believe that white people are the real victims. Your racism is going to...
No, I wonder if they play into each other because the problem here with this lady is twofold. She's collectivizing everybody, and she's also unable to be self-reflective at all. She's not taking anybody as an individual and taking their criticism individually. She's just seeing them all as white people, and because all of their criticism is just criticism she doesn't like, she just thinks they're all saying the exact same thing just in different ways, and she just can't be self-reflective at all.
So like all across the board are the same because she believes so, which is incorrect.
Mhm.
Sorry, lady. Again, this goes back to the individual. There is a such thing in this world as an individual.
Used to think so. Most people used to think so.
Because I'm directly talking about race, and that's uncomfortable. You will want to box me in to define me so that I'm unacceptable and not the ever-shifting forms of racism. My pieces aren't an objective expose on racism. I'm going to rip and banter through my memoirs as I slowly run a blade across your neck. These pieces are an intimate look into my complicated relationship with myself dealing with whitey, my problems with my profession, and the world at large. I will lay out how racism pervades all parts of my life as I settle this score. Nothing is more intimate than death, so we're going to get a little close, and I'm going to have a little fun. You may have heard of words such as psychopath and bully, or like me, you'd be more partial to the more sort of accurate descriptors of asshole and bitch. None of these words come even close to capturing the pervasive white people are truly a phenomenon. This means that we need a brand new vocabulary for these concepts to imagine something new, an experiential remix that draws from culture, psychoanalysis, and forensics. I have created a psychological mashup guide to the violence that white people commit as part of their identity and their need to stay guilty, to not face some awful truth. We need a vocabulary of new concepts to help people of color name what they experience, to identify the violence that's committed on them, and to reflect on the parts they may have also internalized. I'll unpack how racism is embedded in white culture and how it reflects the collective white mind. Racism hides behind a distorted white focus on Black rage as a problem that Black and brown people need to address, without seeing it as a projection of their own sickness. Racism is masked by white efforts to help people of color, an identity I will call white goodness. Because of this dynamic of white people never owning their shit, Black and brown people have always had a different route to talk about white people. For white people,
it's just all collectivizing, collectivize, 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 collectivize.
Yeah, there's something mentally wrong with the lady. And then she's
And also the fact that she's just so crass and vulgar, and she thinks that that's helping her make her point. No, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, you're looking more like a hypocritical.
No, she's just looking like a bitch. She's like, oh, all these people think like a bitch, so I'm just gonna embrace it. No, you already were a bitch. That's why people were calling you a bitch.
Yeah, it's like having resting bitch face. Lady, you have it naturally. And that's just talking about the vagina. Ugh.
Oh,
Now you're talking about your actual face.
oh, you're awful.
All right. Cover those meat curtains. Ugh.
Oh dear.
Sorry, she's probably a horrible person. I can't stop laughing at her.
Oh, you did.
I am, but I'm a dick.
My series is an invitation into the other room to see how we view you and to begin to own your own violence. But it's your first time here, so I want to make sure that you're like comfortable or seated. Like I'm a good host like that. But you're here, I respect that. My thoughts are clearly an integration of like way too many years of school, and during that time I had to play anthropologists and white academics to survive and understand what the fuck they are really saying. So I learned how to decode white. I will be teaching these new concepts to you, but my form is just a candid conversation. What I'm talking about is really emotionally painful. But at the same time, sometimes we just need a little laughter. We need a little sugar to bear the milk. Let's kick it. White people have been out of their minds since Western colonialism. It was the worst violence the world has ever seen.
What?
Genghis Khan, Julius Caesar, Alexander the Great, the fucking Ottomans. What the hell, lady?
Yeah,
The Zulu,
history lesson.
the Aztecs, friggin' human sacrifice by the hundreds. But no, colonialism and Western slavery.
No,
That's the worst. That's the top of the mountain.
lady, do you understand the Great Wall of China and that there are bones and bodies infused into the Great Wall of
Oh
China?
my goodness.
Like thousands, if not more, maybe probably
Or queens that had to be put to death if their husband died first.
yeah, or queens that didn't birth a son. Oh, there went their head. Like, lady, there's other things in here. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, we can go to the Vikings. That's a different kind of fight. There's also Native Americans killing each other, mass slaughtering each other, and I know that because it's kind of my history. But how special needs, lady.
Themselves that they are the superheroes of the world. They started this lie to justify their violence. I'm going to call the superhero identity white goodness. It is the mask of a psychopath. White people don't know they are wearing a mask because usually psychopaths don't know that they're psychopaths.
Like you?
This mask is an essential part of their identity. Every time a white person lies about their violence to or against a person of color, they invert reality.
Well,
The
because they've
violence
been violently
becomes
against
exceptional
a
heroism.
person of color.
White people also have to distort their perception of a person of color to make them inferior and in need of help to justify violence. And for white people, everyone is in need of their help, which is like how colonialism began.
No, colonialism began because they wanted resources, but then they realized it was to their advantage to actually help the natives modernize, actually. They didn't always do it right, but it is what it is.
Psychological predicament because when people feel that we are bullying them when we bring up race, they feel that we should be thanking them for all that they have done for us. They are confused, and so are we.
No, I don't think you're here.
Okay?
I don't think she's confused whatsoever. I think she knows what she's doing. It's very maniacal.
Or manipulative?
Yeah, it's very manipulative as well. It's very just fucked up in general. This lady is just projecting and then on top of it going like, well, I'm just going to state these are the racists, and then we're allowed to do whatever the hell we want as long as we state they're the racists. Like, no, lady, you doing bad things in general is just bad. Don't do bad things. It doesn't matter what the hell the color of your skin is. Lead by example.
Yep.
You're supposed to be a kind of a pillar in the community if you're supposed to be some kind of psychiatrist, right? Obviously, you're not some kind of pillar. You're some kind of douche.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people have bad opinions of shrinks, you know.
I do. Because I've had to deal with quite a few of them that got caught doing some shady shit. And one of them, I was dating. Very bad. They literally mess with your head. Get bored after a while. And then they don't realize that they themselves are crazy. Because technically, you have to be crazy to live in this world. We all are in a different form, different level, different You just don't know it until you're older, and you just got to pay attention. And a lot of people live in bliss. I would love to be ignorant of the world
You
right now.
know, yeah, the human species is interesting. We know what our shit is. We keep trying to get over our shit. We keep getting close, and then we keep fucking it up.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Like, well, once again, we are in the new current point in history where we're close. We're close to getting there. Like the Western world is so close, and then it has the money to help the rest of the second and third world get there. But the fucking idiots. There's always so many of them.
Yes, it's very upsetting just to think about. And they just manipulate, they fight, they want to start drama,
Yes, right.
right?
Right.
And then they project what they really are onto you. And I've met a lot of people like that in my life that do that whole crazy projection thing. This lady is one of those people, and she's projecting who she really is onto others. So, lady, you are the racist. So, goodbye.
Yeah. Okay.
Go can go.
We keep forgetting that directly talking about race is a waste of our breath. We are asking a demented, violent predator who thinks that they are safe for a superhero to accept responsibility. It ain't gonna happen. They have 5 holes in their brain. It's like banging your head against a brick wall, just like sort of not a good idea.
Lady, I think you need to.
That directly talking about race to white people is useless because we're at the wrong level of conversation.
No, people just need to be talked
to. White people can see and process what we are talking about. They can't. That's why they sound demented. They don't even know they have a mask on. White people think it's their actual face. We need to get to know that. Black rage has nothing to do with black people and everything to do with white people. Part 2. The white blah blah. The game is rigged. White people need our help. We make fun of them like behind their back, like it's time. They need some help. They rig the game, but they don't know that they're losing, or the cost to all of us. If white people can accept the existence of racism and the matrix in which it operates, white privilege, why has there been no psychological formulation of black rage? It's real. We all know it's real. No one feels comfortable saying it. So let me just do it. People of color are angrier and louder. I know, I'm one of them. BIPOCs are enraged because white people don't own their dirty history, actions, or real intentions of racism. Instead, white people battle 24/7, needing to teach everyone about race, and yet have a complete absence of curiosity about black rage. Why?
They're not responsible for what other people did.
Right. You cannot get them to shut the fuck up. It makes them feel good. They also imagine it makes us feel good to see their true enlightenment. Talking about racism is a form of self-congratulatory masturbation. White people exchange without really accepting racism. It serves no purpose other than to jerk themselves off. We're posturing as a nation. And yet, for all the babbling and teaching that white people do, the moment you bring up race, they deflect any suggestion that they're racist with a white blah blah blah.
Maybe they actually aren't racist.
They do apologies when they get caught being racist.
Not all white people are racist.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is that she thinks that people that no. I don't know why you keep thinking just because one is or something like that doesn't mean all are. What if we meet one person that's Indian that's racist? Does that mean that all are? Because you're pretty damn racist, lady.
A lot of Chinese people are racist, by the way.
Yeah. To be honest, a lot of Chinese people that I've talked to and or met are pretty racist.
And you know, you would meet a lot of Arab guys who came fresh from the country.
Yep, I dealt with a lot of Arab kids that came from different countries, and by how they were taught, by how they reacted to people, and some were very rude and racist towards anybody that was just of any certain majority. I knew Arab kids that instantly hated Jews just because of stories they heard when they were little, and they automatically just hated and didn't even actually know to talk to somebody or not, or they would be very against gays, because most Arab people that I know were against gays, and it's because it's in their religion, and it's really dark and fucked up, and a lot of them had problems with that. And back in the day when I used to buy, I'd tell them that, and they'd freak the fuck out at me. I actually had one try to attack me with a kitchen knife, but he learned his lesson. So
They always learn their lesson with you.
yes, because I'm here to teach, and sometimes it has to be painful, but I'm here to teach.
Pain teaches.
You'll never forget it. Every time it rains.
I lost control. I am not that person. I was raised to be respectful of difference. I honor and
So, bitch, someone wrote
salute you. That's not an apology. That is a press statement. What they are saying is that was a one-off. I had a moment where I lost control. That was not me. It's all of you, America. What they're communicating is you are the ones who are off with what you saw. We came into contact with their unconscious. White people are dependent on Black rage.
No, they're not.
Instead of issues of race as outside of themselves, they need to focus on the intensity of rage of the
You are
problem
dependent on their rage.
located
You
in a
want them
person
to
of
fuel
color.
this whole social
To establish that
propaganda.
race has nothing to do with them. The problem of race is that we have difficulty with emotional regulation. Once we calm ourselves down, they can actually talk about race, how they can even help us.
So
The most
vulgar.
violent racists are the ones who are not aware of their unconscious,
She's unapologetic and
not the ones that express their hatred in words. Most racism
There's a
is
difference between being unapologetic and just being
not
tactful.
understanding Black rage is a psychological
Let's just say she's
requirement
an
for
evil
white
person.
people to flourish and thrive. It's a color.
Or she does.
Not
Or actually, being unapologetic doesn't mean you can't be
Their
tactful. I
survival
should say.
depends on it. That's why it needs to be
I think
perpetually
she's being aware of how she smiles.
Not understanding Black rage is why our nation and world hasn't been able to
Lady,
mourn
you make Black
from
rage.
the level of violence of slavery, colonialism, and conversion. Racism is just a continuing legacy.
That's creepy.
A reminder of what we haven't yet faced together. Our collective trauma of sorrow, anguish, and utter desolation.
We're what, somewhere around 150 years since emancipation. When you gonna let it go?
You lady, you always try. They try to bring up the whole trauma and the whole thing about
The past.
slavery in the past, and they only bring up within the past 200 to 400 years.
Exactly. Every single group of like every single nation all across the past have committed slavery at
Guess
some
who
point.
still does to this day?
Parts of Africa, the Middle
Yep.
East, and Asia.
And they do it to their own kind, their own races. Anybody that just happens to cross their path and they happen to get a dirty look to, they'll give them and turn them into slaves. And that does happen. So why aren't you fighting that? Why aren't you bitching about that? No, you're helping fund it. Praise the Wuhan shit. No, you dumbass. You're fine with the whole Uyghur camps, I bet.
Mm.
It's like you don't even realize or click in your head, lady, that there's more to this world than just you and your falsified, oh, white racism's everywhere. No, it's not. You're just trying to make it a big deal when it was dying out and almost non-existent after a while. You guys fueled the flames and brung it back, and you guys are more racist than anything. If you look at history, history goes back more than only 400 years, lady. It's gone back a few thousand years. And Arabs used to enslave whites, and blacks
The
did
word
too.
slave comes from Slav, as in the Slavic people. They're not exactly the darkest types.
And guess how they used to judge people back then? By how God mythology was for sun. And the sun was the god. If your skin burnt, you were unworthy. And guess what? White people were, when they got their skin all like a sunburn, they were unworthy. People with darker skin didn't get burnt. And so in doing so, they put them into servitude, into being slaves. That history exists, lady. You psychopathic wannabe. God, stop projecting your racism.
Yeah, she's pretty terrible.
Get a better shade of makeup.
And
They tolerate it, and we are unsettled as a nation because of it. It's time to settle the score. Next section. All lives matter. It's their thing. Are there any psychoanalysts here? Yeah, okay. So what I'm about to go going into is going to be familiar to you in a different form. This is attacks on Lincoln. It's impossible to talk about race because we are talking to psychopaths.
You.
Just a whole lot of them.
Psychological bullies
Keep
because
bumping
they
everybody
actually have
together
no
in one
self-esteem.
section.
They're all image.
What happens when you do it back to you?
When we directly bring up race because they feel threatened. They're grasping at that last shred of imagined self-esteem.
Maybe you're wrong.
Our accurate observations start to expose them. So turning the tables on us is defensive. That's why they blame us and go full throttle victim. I cannot even begin a conversation about racism without getting a steely ice-drip warning from a whitey that I'd be respectful, not generalize to all people because, well, that's racist. In a single moment, white people reverse the conversation, tell me that I'm racist to even dare to bring it up. They say this with a perfect combination of condescension and concerned white person teachable.
You were racist throughout this whole damn talk.
Literally. You are the most racist lady I've heard in years. You're racist some of
it's a command to shut up. I am the problem now. We are the problem now. How the hell did this happen?
You're worse than Marxist, but you kind of are worse. Like, you're better than it. Really
Well,
sick.
it's still Marxism because it's collectivizing.
Yes, you're right. It's a different form of it.
For me to think about my racism. That's why they literally
She
bring
just
up
said it herself.
every
She said it right there. For her racism.
what
She just admitted she's a goddamn racist.
What about Marvel fans? I eat kind bars. I am kind.
Talking about
But
Marvel
I'm
fans.
gay. What about white vegans? What about people who like peas? I only eat the outside of Oreos. It doesn't mean like suddenly all hate gay people, trans people, fat people, and like we're all Holocaust deniers. That's why they have this all lives matter moment when we bring up race. White people feel like everything is unfair for them, especially self-examination. They have
You're the one
a
who can't
singular
self-examine.
mission to cling onto their most sacred feeling, unfair. So that
Mm.
they can feel like this conversation is unfair to them. That's why all white people act put upon when we bring up race. We're victimizing them. White people destroy our meaning of racism by destroying the meaning of inequality and racism.
No, that's what you people are doing.
They need to reach a conclusion of sameness to safeguard their feelings of unfairness.
No, again, that's what you people are doing.
Stop projecting
White
me.
people use the
That's what
language
you're
of
doing.
equality or sameness to protect their entitled lives.
You mean you?
Again.
Lady, it just looks like you're talking to yourself in the mirror. And just you, that's what you did. You painted yourself, your face white. You're on drugs. You're looking in the mirror saying, you white person.
She does make herself look so pale.
And self-righteously defended.
Oh my god, it looks like a Joker makeup. Just add a little more. Fine, we'll have you play Martha, the female Joker from the Flashpoint Batman.
Oh, wow.
You would probably play a great sociopath because you're pretty fucking close.
Oh, great.
Communicate accurately. And if there's no difference, there can't be empathy. They're hot. It's a psychotic word.
Yes, you are.
They arrive at a paradox of nonsense that racism does not exist and that we're the real racists.
Well, you're blaming white people for everything. That's kind of racist. Just saying.
Especially when it comes to they believe racism doesn't exist, but you believe that
Having to even consider their own racism is the same to them
it's forcing it to
actual
happen.
racism. You gotta kind of hand it to white people as sort of like the most brilliant anti-logic I've ever heard.
You're the one being
But
anti-logical.
if you prefer this thought as we go a bit further,
You're
the real racist to dare to have this conversation with them. White people will now invert the conversation to prove that we're the real racists.
the racist because you're the ones bringing up race first. The white people stopped talking about race. That was the point. To
Yeah,
stop talking about race so that people stop focusing on it and everyone can just focus on living their lives.
wasn't it Morgan Freeman that said, just
Stop talking about it.
And that's what you do. And he's like, what? He's like, well, how would you
Stop
like it if I
talking
started
about
calling you a
it.
white boy? And he's like, I wouldn't like that. He's like, then don't call me a black man. And it's like, call me by my name.
Mhm.
And that's what we should do. So
Eh,
Morgan Freeman said it the fucking best, lady, and that's God. if you haven't paid attention to any movies
And
lately.
he was on that the trippy kids show that was basically the precursor to Sesame Street.
Oh my god.
What was that show called again?
Electric.
The Electric Company.
Electric Company.
Yeah, he was on that trippy thing. Man,
was,
that show was trippy.
Yep.
They were on a lot of weed making that show,
on
and
a
that
lot
was
of
meant to be for kids.
And
God, I love the 70s.
Dad grew up on it, and it was pretty fucking funny.
The damn 70s.
That's great. Don't you love it?
So if you happen to get any further with a white person, the seamless conclusion is going to take the following form. It's usually through speaking. We can have empathy for you, and you need to have empathy for us. It's the same. Sounds good so far, right? Like, let's slow it down. See what they're actually saying. What words are being equated with what? That's what white people need our empathy for. Let's fill in the blanks of what empathy really means. We can have empathy for you, quote, and the history of racism, but you need to have empathy for us, feeling bad or guilty. Whiteys occasionally fill in the first blank. The second blank is problematic and almost never filled in because white people ain't really requesting empathy. They want sympathy. It's a desperate creating state towards white guilt or feeling bad. Also, white people are now speaking to us in the past tense. That's interesting. They're no longer addressing what we just said. They're racist. So they're talking about the history of racism. They changed time on us, so it's all in the past. So by this point, we're so lost by white logic that we no longer know what racism means.
No, we know what it is.
Let's put this bad one together. Is feeling bad or guilty about the harm that white people have caused is the same as actual racism against us, then they are saying that these are equivalent states of harm. So
I reject your premise wholesale. So fuck you.
I'm with you on that.
Since they're the same, there's not really anything to talk about here. It's a wrap. Or put differently,
we have a lot to talk about how fucking crazy you are. And how you like to make shit up.
The white people need guilt to hold this whack-ass conclusion of seeing this together. Because it makes no sense. And if not, there's no harm to them, and they actually have to face their own racism. So white people have a situation. They're saying, you need to have pity on my feeling bad, facing my own violence through the violent attack for me. Stop talking, or I will feel violently attacked.
Fucking bring it.
So let's take that.
No, she's interpreting what she thinks white people are saying.
And that's why feeling guilty is a psychological necessity for them. As long as they say guilty, they don't actually have to face reality.
No, but she's just misinterpreting everything. But again, the reason she's misinterpreting everything is she's not being self-reflective. She cannot even begin to comprehend that it's a her problem.
Yep, she's not reflecting, looking at herself, understanding that. Not whatsoever. And it's very upsetting just to see that there's people like us, especially people that are supposedly have like a doctorate. If you're some kind of psychologist in some form.
She is. She said earlier in the talk that she sees patients.
Yeah, so and that means you're manipulating or warping people's minds. I wonder how many people you drove to suicide. We should actually check your list of patients and see who's killed themselves, lady. Like seriously, if there's a string of suicides,
we don't know who her patients are because that's doctor-patient confidentiality.
Oh, maybe the police will get in on that.
It's still doctor-patient confidentiality.
But if the doctor's killing the patient, that's what I'm saying. She's probably some kind of serial killer.
Well, no, she's not on trial or anything. She's out and about. This is from April 6th.
I know. That's not what I'm saying. I was going hypothetical and joking dark theory of what if she's really doing this.
Right.
And that's what I'm coming at is in some kind of psychological way she's manipulating white people into killing themselves.
Well, I'm saying you wouldn't be able to find any police reports. That's what I was saying.
I'm not saying that, but if there happens to be something that pops up like that, that'd just be funny as shit one day.
Okay, you didn't word it that way.
I didn't get a chance to finish it before you changed something. It's fine. I was just going off something, and I fell on the joke before you had a chance to say something.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Actually, that they can't. It's a psychological limitation of their mind. They're struggling emotionally with the content of what we just said. They just can't go there with us, and we have to actually accept that distinction. And we can because our minds are different. They're also saying to us, you need to understand
our minds are different.
You misunderstood me. This me first feels right. So in order for America to heal, we need to understand what white people will undergo if they allow themselves to really know
Right there,
that it's not
lady.
bad.
You were just like pedaling the bike, getting it going, and then you slipped, busted your cooch, and fell on your face, got hit by a car. Like, you're sitting there going, we're all different. We all think different. Yes, you're getting there. Yeah, we're all there. We're all growing and learning in different manners. Yeah. And then, but white people, like, lady, seriously, the fuckery. What is going on here? Like,
Nope.
you had it. You have it in your head, but you are literally a racist. Like, period. You are a racist, lady. You just proved it right there. Everybody's equal, this and this, but white people are no. Because if you're trying to cause some kind of fucking crazy genocide in the future, I promise you, you're not going to be able to see it. There's something fucking mentally wrong with you, lady. And they're going to come eating for you too because the left eats its own. Or did you not hear that? Because they're going to eat you first. Because look how pale you are.
Yeah, but I think her heritage is actually from India.
Yeah, it doesn't matter though. She doesn't sound Indian.
Well, yeah,
doesn't
because
look Indian.
she grew up in America.
Yeah, she talks like English, motherfucker, and she looks
Had
more
to
like
throw in that
white. Like,
motherfucker.
seriously, lady, if you didn't go out tanning ever, you'd probably be really pale. Or if you lived in Michigan, or you lived somewhere cold like Alaska or something like that.
Well, she's speaking at Yale, so she might live in New England somewhere.
Yeah, well, doesn't matter with this lady. She's some kind of sociopath. We don't need that in this world.
People will be terrified. That's why they cling on to us.
You have power.
We also need to gracefully accept, for now, that white people truly are confused by black rage, which they are.
Black rage. Why do you keep perpetuating stereotypes, bitch?
Right? So you're a racist.
And what they have done. Each conversation on race sounds completely new to them. That's why they all sound demented. They are hurt by their own racism, they just don't know that. They are hurting their own mind. They want us to preserve sympathy around their guilt, to not face the horror of what they do to other people, and also the horrors of what they've done to themselves. Next section. The loss of what was already gone. I would like to invite all people of color in. Not where I thought I was going to go on my writing, but here we are. To empathize with the enormity of stakes when white people face their guilt. The emotional risk of being vulnerable enough to begin to know what they've done to other people and themselves. The inconsolable losses that they have already gone through but do not know as of yet. Beginning to know what they never have. White people have to face the largest psychological task America has yet to face. They need to face their own psychopathy.
More
They need to face their own violent history, which they've needed to do as external to themselves. To no longer see white privilege as not me, but a violent part of themselves as they face their past and continued level of criminal violence.
Every race has committed mass violence at one point or another. Even Indians.
Guess who's the only race that is a white race that has never put pressure on any other race? Irish. And they have been literally the slaves to most people that ever touched their land. Stepped on their land, go near their land, just look at them and go, hey, I want you to be my bitch. And that's what's happened to the Irish for a very, very long time. We have an Irishman friend, and his family wasn't treated right for a very long time.
Is he bitter?
Yeah, no, he's not bitter at all. He's proud to still be an Irishman.
And an American.
And an American. Because guess what? The Irish people earned their keep to be Americans. A lot of them did when they came to this country. so did a lot of black people. So did a lot of other people of other countries. So did a lot of Chinese.
Yeah,
They
that's
built the railroad.
one statistic that they always ignore. Black immigrants,
Mm-hmm.
just like most immigrants, do very well here.
Yep.
Not a race thing.
So it's not a race thing, lady. You are a racist, and that is on You're a Racist Today. We have a winner.
Mhm.
We should make a racist bingo.
White people actively hide all of this from themselves. They just put everything outside, literally.
No, that's you.
If you can't see it, it never happened. It's part of their unexamined worldview. You can keep it where it belongs, unconscious, pull that off. Otherwise, what the whites do is staring them in the face, and that would be rude. If you can't, the defining symptom of white privilege is the ability to choose not to speak.
No, lady. You're a racist.
Prison overflowing with black and Latino men. You say, great. You didn't do it. Prison is vanished. Incarceration is magic. White people need to control
But people commit crimes.
If we look at what is so secret that it has no
People all
location,
around the world commit crimes.
Like
all
our
different
system
races.
does work. Most of the people who are in jail are there for a legitimate
You
reason.
can't wiretap an operation that has no location. You don't want anyone to see a backdoor meeting about a meeting outside code and behind the scenes strategically placed phone calls. We don't want them all.
I'll
We
show
want it
you
to work and work for
something.
you. White people are hiding from themselves.
I think you are.
Fatally shooting a 17-year-old boy as he returns from a candy store saved their community. Neighborhood lunch killer. Trayvon was in a hoodie and up to no good.
Oh, it's hilarious. She's using this as an example. Because that Zimmerman dude, even though his last name's Zimmerman, part Hispanic.
Like, lady, have you checked anything? Oh my god, it's made him laugh and cry at the same time. Can I laugh, cry? Cry, laugh? Is there a new word for that?
Craft? I don't know.
Craft?
No, that's a container for drinks.
Oh, well, we fucked that one up. LaCroix. I'm gonna LaCroix you now. Don't touch me, Karma.
Flaying a black runner from a pickup truck to self-defense. White people put Eric Garner in a chokehold while he suffocated, and his life slowly left him, but it's not violent. It's a gentle neck massage. With Breonna Taylor, the cops got charged for wanton endangerment. White people could have been hurt. There was no indictment because of what white people saw.
Sweetie, you can't move.
The cops got charged for the bullets that missed her black body, not the 8 bullets that they loaded into her.
Everybody fucked up in the Breonna Taylor situation.
The bullets that count are the ones that protect the real issue.
Goodness. So the cops knock. The dude thinks it's the ex-boyfriend, because he knew that some of his money or whatever was still there. So from what I've gathered, he didn't hear the cops, and the cops announce themselves and they have body cams.
Yeah.
Dude apparently didn't hear the cops announce, so he's acting properly, thinking it's a home invader. He didn't hear the cops say that they were the cops.
Right.
And he's the one who fired first in that situation. The cops didn't fire first. He fired first, completely reasonable, thought it was a home invader, didn't hear it was the cops.
Yep.
He ended up shooting one of the cops, and of course the cops, not realizing the dude thought it was home invaders, fired back because the cops were shot at first. It was an unfortunate event of misunderstandings on both sides.
Yep, reaction, because sometimes reactions happen, which guess what, lady? I bet you've never been in some kind of actual psychological horror thing involving something like that. You're probably just going to go and, oh, well, he was like this and this and this. How would you actually probably sit in a room with people that have actually gone through shit or been shot at or shot? I have friends that have been injured and messed up most of their lives, and they don't act the same after. You change, and you get scared, or you react accordingly. It's called PTSD for some people, like actual, not that whole bullshit social justice. Oh, I had
Yep.
this triggered moment. No, actual war, actual a car crash happened, and you lost your best friend or something in the process. And every time you see a certain type of vehicle, you freak the hell out. Oh, I have traumatic
And
instances every time I see a crotch rocket.
yep. And of course, nobody talks about the little black girl that was shot and killed at the BLM riot.
Oh yeah, that the guys run up and fucking shot at the car and killed a little girl in the car. Just loaded it right up. What about that? Or BLM making millions of dollars and running off with it. The leaders all and then the one lady bought 6 houses and then left. She literally left BLM right after she bought 6 houses. Like, thanks, I'm a millionaire now.
Because
Fuck
of all the
you.
backlash.
Well, because she got caught. Because all of these motherfuckers are liars and they're grifters. They're using all of these people as pawns for their money scheme. How many people actually from like that actually got the money from BLM? None. How many of those families that all BLM made the money off their dead families, the dead pictures of their kids? How much money did those families get for that? Nothing. Barely any of them from what I've looked up or anybody else has looked up. Nothing. BLM took all the money and ran. Thanks for all this.
Well, no, some chapter leaders are starting to speak up because
Yeah.
they're not seeing the results that they were promised.
Yeah, because of the manipulation, because all it was for was it was a grift. It was for some money because they wanted to make a profit. It's the same thing when we talk about these big corporations and companies. They joke about it all the time. They showed a picture of it showing all these companies for the LGBT stuff. Just boom, all these rainbow flags out of nowhere for 1 month.
Except for the Middle East account.
Yep, all the Middle East accounts perfectly fine because they hate the LGBT. They do. And you forget there's videos and pictures of people getting thrown off the roof.
But we're halfway through. We've been at it for an hour.
Cool.
I think that's a good stopping point.
Okay. If you want,
If you want, we can finish it next week.
Oh yeah, we can finish the other half of this
All right.
next week. And,
So next week, part 2 of Crazy Bitch.
Yeah, part 2 of the psychological sociopath that's actually racist.
Right? Oh my goodness, this was interesting.
There's something mentally wrong with that person.
Yeah, this lady.
Very upsetting.
I wonder what kind of craziness we'll be privy to next week then.
Oh,
all right.
Brought to you by Cowboy.
Good night, everybody.